Hey there, it's the Yard Buddha, and today, or actually today and tonight, we are going to be doing some brisket. And I was looking for about a 15-pound brisket, and this one's about 14 and a half pounds. They had ones that were like 19, they had ones that were 10. So this was pretty much the only one that I could find that was quite around that range, but it's got a little more fat on it than I normally like, and then it also has a big, huge point at the top. So you can see the flat here over on the left side is going to be a lot thinner than the point. So I normally don't do this. Okay, so I got my flat and my point all trimmed up, and I know some of you will say this is still part of the point, and yes it is, but it is nice and even, and I got most of the hard fat is what you want to chop out of this. So this is actually what I took out, which is almost 3 pounds of just straight fat. So my 14 and a half pound brisket now became a 11 and a half pound brisket, but you don't want to smoke the fat. You want the smoke to get into the meat. And I know that the fat has the flavor, and there's still going to be plenty of that in here. So this is the choice parts that I have chosen to put on my grill, and I'll show you how I season it. Okay, so I just patted this dry with some paper towels. Now, I like to put on a base of this yellow mustard. Occasionally I'll use Worcestershire, but basically it's just a substance for the pepper and the spices to stick onto. I know Texas style is just straight 50-50 salt and pepper, nothing besides that, but this is what I like a little bit better. This has a little more flavor. The mustard really doesn't add that much flavor to it. Even people that don't like mustard can't taste the mustard. And then next, we're just going to add a base of coarse ground black pepper. Liberally. This really gives it some nice texture, and I usually use ground pepper on everything that I barbecue. So it's going to be liberal. And then what I have found and loved is this John Henry's Bubba's Rub seasoning, which is just a mixture of salt, sugar, brown sugar, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, your usual spices. I've tried making my own rub, and this is just a whole lot easier. So I put this on lots of things. He makes a hot one also, which is a little bit more kick, a little bit more cayenne in it. But liberal coating of that. So I'm gonna do this on the sides, on the back, and on the other pieces. And then I'm probably gonna just let this sit for 15-20 minutes while I go get the coals going, and we'll see you at the grill. All right, so what we're using today to smoke this brisket is the Weber Smokey Mountain bullet, and this is 3 pieces. That's the base, that's the middle, that's the top, obviously, So the base holds the coals. I kind of filled that. Had a ring about 1/3 full. And then I'm just going to start off with maybe like 15, 20 coals in the top, because I'm wanting to smoke this at a low temperature, probably between 225 and 250. And so I don't want to light all the coals all at once. So I'm going to get these few coals started and then dump them on the top, and then have it kind of slowly burn into those, and then add more coals as I need more heat. I've got the sides here probably about 1/4, 1/3 open, just to kind of try to control the temperature. We are going to add on some Applewood chunks, and then I also have my thermometer here that I can judge the temperature of everything. And the middle here is a water pan, which I like to line with tin foil. It just ends up being easier to clean up all the fat and rendering that drops down in there. You can just pull that tin foil out and clean it up. And then I have a bucket of kind of warm water to dump into that water pan. You kind of want to start with warm water, or else it takes a lot longer to heat everything up. So let me grab my lighter here and let's get this party started. Woohoo! If we can. And I'm hoping this cook probably takes between like 8 to 10 hours. Really, you're not going to get much more smoke in the meat after that point. And I'm starting this at like 9 o'clock at night, so I'm probably going to wake up at 6 or 7 and check on it, and probably wrap it. I'm going to cheat and wrap the brisket, and then end up finishing it in my oven, because it's going to be fully smoked by that point. We're shooting for a internal temperature of about 200 degrees in the brisket, and that's when all the inner stuff starts melting and turning into butter. So we will see you at that point. Okay, so I got the coals going. I've got the water pan filled down there. I've got my second layer rack down there, and I'm going to put the point down there because it doesn't really matter what temperature that one is as much, because it's got so much fat in it. So I'm going to put the top rack on here and put my big flat on there and kind of measure that. That's a little more lean. So I'm going to have the thermometer going in the flat on the top, and then another thermometer going in the top of my kettle just to monitor the temperature, and we'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so I got my point down under there on the bottom rack, and I got my flat up here on the top rack. I've got a meat thermometer stuck in the kind of fattest middle area of there, and it's reading now at 71, or no, 52, because the other one is 71. That's the outside temperature right now, but that one's going to go in the top of the smoker and tell me exactly what temperature it is. So we've got about 150 degrees to go on this guy. I am going to get a little bottle of half apple juice, half apple cider vinegar, and spritz this a little bit every now and then if it's looking like it's burnt. But right now I'm going to put the top on and throw in about 4 or 5 Applewood chunks, and we'll show you the next step when we get there. So this is kind of how the next 8 to 10 hours is going to be like. I've got my thermometer here plugged into the meat, and then also into the top of the smoker to tell me what it's at. And then I've got a remote thermometer here. This is the exact same thing, so we've got it at 195. That means we need to get it up to 225, 250, and then the meat's at 55. But we're going to keep an eye on this. Once we get it dialed in to like 225, you can fall asleep and set your alarm here. If it goes any higher than that, it'll start beeping, which is really nice. So I definitely recommend getting some sort of thermometer to go in both the meat and the top there to tell you what it's at. But right now, meat is smoking. It's having a lovely time, and I shouldn't have to spritz it or anything for a few hours. It's about 9 o'clock now, so I may check in again on it about midnight and then go take a nap. Bye. Alright, it's morning time now, and at about 9 hours the temperature in the flat was about 165. So I pulled that off, wrapped it up, and now it's in my oven at 250, wrapped in tin foil, and it's got the thermometer in there slowly climbing to about 200. And then I took the point out and I chopped it up in nuggets and put it back in here in a pan, and these are going to be my burnt ends. And so I'm going to let these kind of sit in here for at least another hour or so, and then I'll transfer those to the oven as well. I just want the kind of exposed areas to get a little more charcoal smoke flavor. So that's how I make my burnt ends, and we'll show you the final product. Okay, this is the results of the smoking process. I probably had these on for about nine and a half hours. This is the brisket here. I think I got it up to probably about 202 or so, and then in the oven after I wrapped it, had the thermometer in there and pulled it out. So it is fully smoked. We're gonna slice that up. It has been resting for about 2 hours, and then we have some burnt ends in here that have been resting for a while too, so I may have to take my due, slice it with a fork. Oh yeah. So let's show you how we slice this apart and finish it up. See ya. All right, let's slice this guy up. Kind of want to go against the grain. This was the top, and I actually had the top down when I was smoking it, so it kind of protected the other meat a little bit more. But I just do nice, maybe 1/4 inch chunks. We don't go the whole way through the length of it. Gonna do it in side portions. get to the more fatty part here and the point, and usually I'll just slice that right in half. And then just make chunks out of that. Quarter-inch, maybe a little thicker. Same thing this side. Oh, you can see how nice and juicy that one is. These ones are a little more lean, that don't have as much fat in them, but good for sandwiches and stuff. So kind of separate your flat over here from your point and let people pick what they want. I like the fatty stuff. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.